justice, decency, equality, freedom, democracy. That's why I'm running for President of the United States.
California Senator Kamala Harris is wading into an already crowded pool of Democratic presidential hopefuls.
We must fight back.
Fighting against this will take all of us.
Now, even the small fish are making a big splash.
I'm Pete Buttigieg. I'm the mayor of South Bend, Indiana. The reality is there's no going back, and there's no such thing as again in the real world.
Buttigieg announced his candidacy Wednesday morning, broadening the roster to nearly a dozen. But why the sudden deluge of Democrats?
So you've got to do things to make yourself visible nationally, to get the polls, to put your name in as somebody they're going to ask about.
Political science professor Paul Beck says there are a couple factors that make right now the ideal time to announce.
The major problem for people who are going to be candidates for president is lining up financing, lining up donors, hoping that you haven't waited too long to nail down particular donors. And so there's a competition.
That competition is something Harris timed out well. According to her camp, within the first 24 hours of that announcement, she raked in $1.5 million in donations.
There's also a competition for staff. If you're going to run a presidential campaign, you've got to staff up, not only at the national level, but in particularly some of the early states.
That means boots on the ground in early caucus states like Iowa and New Hampshire.
If you wait too long, the opportunities may not be there. And so there's a tendency, I think, for them to like to have overtures made towards them as soon as possible.
Beck says there are exceptions. More visible, established potential runners like Biden, Bernie, or Bloomberg have the luxury of dragging their heels for a few more months.
Whatever the next year brings for Joe and me, I know we'll both keep our eyes on the real prize, and that is electing a Democrat to the White House.
And this next year will be a busy one. The Democratic National Committee will begin hosting debates in June, and exactly 1 year from now, the primaries begin. For Spectrum News, I'm Molly Martinez.